Another question was, when we talk about omni-channel, what does that actually look in adult retail realistically? Let me give you an example. Many of you have corporations, right? And have, let's say, 40 stores, 15 stores. And all of those stores, for some reason, are under different names. Sometimes they even have different websites. How do you think people are supposed to figure out that it's still the same company? There is no way to figure that out. I can tell you one thing, like when I was training a new employee, we probably already met her at our booth. Her name is Tia, and I was trying to explain her about some customers that this is corporation, but they have this name and this name and this name. It blew her mind. And actually, like, yeah, that does not make any sense. Because what is omni-channel, right? It's consistency in the way you communicate. It means consistent visual, consistent messaging. It means consistent branding. It's not just about, like opening an LLC and leasing the commercial space, right? It's about positioning it as the business with the value, with the message, with the credo, with the logo, with the name, with the trademark, and all of those things, because otherwise it becomes just something that people will never remember to come back. That's the problem. For example, if I go to the coffee shop and I really like the coffee, but I never saw this name again. I never saw their logo again, or just like one isolated case, right? And they didn't take my email or anything like that. They didn't offer me a reward program to send me an email after this, meaning I will never remember what was the name of the shop. Never. But if I went to the store or I went to the restaurant and they gave me something to take with me, right? I already, okay, like if it's a business card or if it's a bonus card, I will see the name here. And then the next time I'm in another city, in another state, and I see this name, okay, now I will go there. When you have both online and offline, you want to refer people from here to there and vice versa. For example, let's say you have an Instagram account and you are posting a lot and you announce your events at the store and people come to the store, right? Or people come to the store and you tell them, hey, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, we give you 5% discount. Or, hey, scan this QR code and there'll be like an educational video about this topic. Or let's say you have an email base, you have their phone numbers, and you do a blast every month. Okay, so this month we have this, and this promotion happening at the store. Please come check it out. So it's all about being in contact with your customer and being consistent in the way how you talk to them and how you look to them, right? Because, for example, sometimes, like I have a few customers that have such beautiful, beautiful boutique stores with amazing assortment, really, like so carefully picked. And it's like a big, nice space. It feels very welcoming for couples and for women. But then I go into their site and it looks like it was built in 90s and there is no online shop. It's really hard to navigate and the site looks like DVD arcade shop, right? So like if I found it online, if I didn't know them before, if I was a couple who were looking for something boutique like, I would have never gone there. So that's about consistency, right? Color palette. Everything in the store should look like on your site, and there should be connection with the brand, right? The way you build it, again, that's depends on you, whether you want to become a destination for sex education, whether you want to become a space where like-minded people can meet each other, or if you are like my ex-CEO Maximilian Lappen, who was wearing pink rabbit suit, like literally he was wearing pink rabbit suit, like the huge pink rabbit hat every time he went out, right? A lot of people thought, oh my gosh, the guy is crazy. But everybody knew that it was him that it was the owner of Pink Rabbit, because the costume he was wearing looked exactly like our logo. And again, it's all about how you feel about your business, because that's your baby, right? Like when you have a child, you have to wear them in something. Same goes for your business. And about social media. Also, I understand that many of you have been disappointed with the fact that you got banned from there, or you are shadow banned for years. And I understand, because I'm in the same boat, right? But I never quit. I just don't. And even when I was shadow banned, like for 5 years, I was shadow banned on Instagram, and only now I'm not anymore, because I started doing the music events and music production, and the miracle happened. So, like, first of all, you can be unbanned, right? So that's good news. And second of all, doesn't matter like how many times they erase you from there, you can always come back. But not being there at all hurts your business a way more, because when I just started working with the manufacturer, I was putting together Excel lists of all the stores in each state and each city. And then I was searching for them on social media, because sometimes really hard to reach people, and like in order not to forget, in order to understand what they're selling even, I was adding them on Instagram. And I was so surprised to find out how many people did not have anything at all, sometimes not even a website. So again, this is just called digital age for a reason. And you cannot rely on the foot traffic, even if you are located in an area where it's like a crazy, crazy traffic throughout like the last 20 years. Not anymore, because again, like the old customers, some of the old customers cannot afford it anymore, right? So the goal is to reach new ones, and the goal is to justify spending money with you. Offer something that will keep people engaged and make your customers return, and give them a reason to return. Branding determines who chooses you when their budget is tight. Let me give you an example. If I like the person who owns the business, and if I want to support their business, and if I know their story, or if I know what was the idea behind this business and how hard it was for them to build it, I would rather spend $5 more with that person rather than buying it from Amazon. But this branding has to be there for people to really believe that it was worth spending it with you. So the branding part of it, I don't understand why so many retailers are afraid of the word branding, and why so many manufacturers are afraid of the word branding. Maybe because our industry is relatively new, and we were focused on the innovation and on building products, building the industry, building retail. But one thing that we really, I think a lot of us are missing, and like even company Kira that I represent, I'm not saying that we are doing it right, but we are having this conversation because like now it's the time to start doing it right, because otherwise, like 1 year from now, it's going to be like 50% less people here in this room. What is branding? I have already explained, right? It's your identity, it's your positioning, it's your credo, it's your voice, it's your messaging, it's your font, it's your logo, it's all of those things. They need to be aligned and they need to be matched. And only after writing this down for yourself, you can take it to marketing agency, PR agency, or if you understand something about marketing, you can try doing it yourself. But without having this checklist of brand components, you can look at our brand components: positioning, voice, blah, blah, blah. So just write it down for your business. How do you see it? Because this is the starting point to have this branding and to build a strategy. To prove you the power of the branding, let's take a closer look at Louis Vuitton. What in this bag costs so much money? There is nothing there that costs so much money, I can tell you that. They're not even handmade anymore, but they have such a great brand story about Louis Vuitton was a real man. In the beginning of last century, he started making the suitcases made of leather, like himself with his hands, and he was going from door to door selling them. Like, you can read it everywhere. He was literally going from door to door. And this story about how this one man was making the suitcases and it was all handmade, that got this brand going. But there is nothing there that costs that ridiculous amount of money. Birkin, same thing. Just do it. Adidas, right? Why you all know the logo? Why you all know just do it that it's Adidas? Because they created the credo that you can erase from your memory. That's the thing. That's the mentality I think we're all missing. And the next question was, where have you seen synergy between in-store and online really work, and what hasn't delivered return on investment? I had a customer who was located in the middle of nowhere in Washington State, and she gained million views on TikTok with a Swacom's vibrator that looked like tentacles, right? But she made it so fun. It was like short and funny, and it got viral. And then people started coming to the store, even though it was like a long drive for them, because she was like literally in the middle of the forest. Meaning it is possible, but you have to be creative with that. You cannot just copy and paste things and expect that things would start moving. So again, like, it's about building a relationship with the platform. You can build it with TikTok, with Instagram, but you have to treat it like this. And now we have Susan Brayton on this panel. I'm a big fan. Susan Brayton started working with our Kira affiliate, and the first video that she recorded was her and her boyfriend in a bed right after using Kira products. Like, it's not explicit, right? So they were undercovers, but they used it and they recorded this video right away. And I watched it, and like, she sold it to me. She did sell it to me because, wow, these people just had sex with these toys and this is how they feel. Yeah, I want to try it too, you know? So that's the thing. Like, even I'm missing this component. Like, sometimes I talk about the products and I make it sound too complicated, too technical. But what it is, like, how it actually feels, what it actually does, how it delivers, you know? And if you are a store owner who wants to be a face of this business, just try it yourself. You can never understand how to promote it and how to position it unless you try it yourself. And many manufacturers are also guilty because they don't try their stuff themselves, and then they choose wrong wording, wrong marketing, wrong influencers to promote this. And then again, about influencers, if you choose the influencer that has a different target audience than the one that you need to get, what happens is, in this case, you spend a lot of money if it's a big one, and you get nothing in return, and you get super disappointed with marketing and PR, and you think this is not working. But this is a huge, huge mistake. The mistake is yours because you never knew what your target audience is to begin with, to search for this influencer. And second of all, there is no tool in marketing NPR where you can like easily see the return on investment right away, unless it's paid advertising on like Google or Meta with a very direct path to buy, right? Because all other tools, excuse me, but influencer marketing or PR publications, those things, this is not something you do once and then you expect next month to have like 10% more profit. This is not happening. Marketing and PR don't work like this. A lot of people don't fully understand what marketing PR really is. What is PR strategy? PR strategy is something that you plan from 1 to 5 years ahead. All of the tools that are involved, you don't look at them individually unless it's something like super expensive and experimental, because this is like a combination of different actions that will bring you brand awareness that you need to strengthen your brand, to bring you people to your store, and to start growing rather than declining in sales. Because the thing is, like, if you do only one thing, Only one marketing thing? Like, let's say you only have billboards and that's it. You don't have anything else. Or you only have Instagram and nothing else. This is not going to work either. Like, it has to be a complex strategy, right? And we are not trying to get a return on something tomorrow. We are trying to commit to the path of growth and just choose it for ourselves and understand that in the world we live in and in the society of overconsumption where everybody is trying to sell you something, how many calls you as a business owner receive daily when people try to sell you something? Yelp calls me, hey, you want to pay for the ads? Google calls me, hey, you're not on Google, you want to pay for this? Hey, you have some errors in your website, they want us to fix it. The answer is like, I'm so sick and tired of these people. And yes, of course, every person out there is the same affected by the variety of choices, the variety of different options, and they are affected by advertising. But the strongest advertising and the most convincing one still these days starts from social media. What does work? Consistency. When your people, when your customers know that every month you have a free event, that every month, let's say, you have a different promotion, every month you have different gift with purchase, for example, this works. They will come back. Or you have a good loyalty program. Like, those things do work. What does not work is inventory over correction. A lot of buyers say, oh, we need to cut, or we're not bringing it in anymore, or we're not carrying this anymore, didn't move fast enough. And then what happens is, then next time when the person who needs this comes, if you don't have it, you lose them forever. I'm not saying you have to buy the same amounts that you used to buy, but you also are not supposed to cut 40% of your assortment, because then you're going to be losing sales because of different reasons, because of you or the owner of the store that makes decisions emotionally rather than really thinking it through. Price wars. A lot of you guys decide, okay, like, we gotta just survive, we gotta discount all the shit that wasn't selling for quite some time, and we don't care about how we will over the rest of the market. So the answer here is, you are devaluating your business and the brands that you are selling. Nobody will say thanks for this. And you have to sell to more people to make the same margin that you were supposed to make if you were following MSRP. In the times we live in where the conversation is, how do we attract new people because they are not coming in anymore? This is not something that makes sense to do. This is another emotional, stupid decision. So please, when you are trying to cut your costs, when you're trying to cut people, when you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay your bills, sleep on it. Don't do anything emotionally. And when you do something, think about how this is going to affect me in 2 years from now. Not a year from now, not a month from now, not a week from now. 2 years at least, or 5. The next question is, how do you decide which growth initiatives are worth investing in with limited time, staff, and budget? Again, here's the thing. If you just the kind of person who does not like to see low balance on your account, or who is just freaking out about how this is gonna work if we're declining that much and how I'm gonna pay salaries like 3 months from now, then maybe business is not your thing. That also can be. But in general, things that bring you money historically, for example, stuff, right? If you have knowledgeable stuff, and if you have a salesperson that is like killing it always, that is passionate about it, and you decide to cut their salary, they will leave. They will leave to your competitors. And then you will lose so much more money than saving this few bucks that you were trying to save. Then what else? Investments like workshops. They don't have to cost too much. If you're a store owner with a big experience, you can do it even yourself. You can do, like, I don't know, introduction to sex toys, or you can call some of the vendors who are also sex educators and work it out with us. But like, make it make sense. Because if you have only 5 people come to your store daily and you have a person on a salary sitting there all day long, Of course, it's not going to be profitable in a recession economy. This is not a rocket science. And other things that you can invest in, like event marketing. Event marketing, not only workshops. Again, like it can be anything. It can be pottery class. It can be, I don't know, like sip and paint, whatever it is, or women circle, whatever it is. Like I'm just making this up right now, but like I know that this kind of things worked in past for many people, right? This, I'm giving you examples. You have to choose what you are interested in, what you like, what your people, what your customers will like, what you think will give him a reason to come to this event after work. Photo and video production. Guys, I'm also taking money out of my pocket to do this, to do the video recordings, to maintain my channel, to buy the equipment, to pay for videographers, photographers, editors. Yes, this is something that does bring you return on investment. Long term, for sure. Short term, depending on the content, depending on the people that make that content. But this is just unavoidable in the world we live in because, again, it's called the digital age for a reason. Another thing, backlinks. Google must like you. If Google doesn't like you, same like Instagram. And making Google like you takes time, it takes money. And if you were only offline store, now the time to open an online. It's very easy with Shopify, with distributors, fulfillment. It's so fast. You don't have to store all this product. You can offer them 50,000 SKUs to choose from without holding any stock or holding just the stock you have in a store. So, meaning, yes, you do have to spend initially money on SEO, on building this site. It's going to take time. It's going to be painful if you don't understand anything about it. But again, hire somebody who does if you don't understand. But this is the investment that makes the most sense to make right now. And also, if you are well known in your city, in your town, for having a lot of sex tech products, or you have a lot of LGBT friendly products, or you have a lot of gay products, then please advertise it like that and invest more in those categories because as more you narrow your target audience, as better the return on investment will be. And of course, education. So the education from the vendors is supposed to be free. You just have to push them because everybody is busy. Yes, everybody is busy. But if you know that your people don't know how to sell MySteam, or if you know that they don't understand silicone-based lubricant versus oil-based lubricant versus hybrid, then hire somebody who can teach them all of that from A to Z so that they finally know what they're working with. Because I went to a few adult shops as a customer 7 years ago when I just needed something and I was somewhere where I couldn't like order it same day from my distributors. And I went to the store and I was thinking, oh my gosh, like I thought it was the best store in town. And then I was starting like, okay, I need the silicone based lubricant, like Uber Lube. And they're offering me like water based. And I go, like, what is this? This is a lubricant. It works exactly like that. I said, no, it doesn't. Should never happen at all. Like, this is basic stuff to even step into the store as in the capacity of somebody who worked there. And of course, you want to invest in innovation, AI tools, and tools that allows you to analyze data. Because, especially if you're online, right? Because, for example, Walmart, what happens when you go to the site, even if you are not making any purchase, Walmart stores all the data about like how much time you were spending looking at each page that you opened. Can you imagine? And like they have data analytics that breaks down the behavior of every consumer so that they can send you the emails and offer you, recommend you exactly only products that you are most likely to buy. And now, again, like it's not only the digital age, right? We are almost being taken over by AI. So before that happens, you can also use it to your own advantage. The thing is that people who don't use AI will be left behind, but I'm absolutely against using this for everything, because now, like, I mean, you're asking, a friend of mine is asking me, like, how much would be this multiplied by that? And he's asking this chat GPT. I go, look, what happened? Like, I mean, you just spend like 1 minute calculated in your mind. We can use it for things like that. But again, this is not ChatGPT. Those are different AI tools that you have to invest in that give you analytics that generate money for you. But do not ignore this. It's happening so fast. We all had to start like 5 years ago, but it's better now than never, right? And listen closely to the customers, because I think in many cases, the owner of the business is somewhere over there in another state, in another country, and salespeople are on the sales floor, and the buyer is just working with the budget they're given, and the salespeople tell them, like, hey, we need this, we need that, people are asking for that. And the buyer says, we don't have a budget for this. And the guy is somewhere having fun or whatever, but he doesn't care anymore because he's just tired of this, right? You've been doing this for 20 years, you're tired. Now you don't have the right product, and you don't have this communication between customer and the store, because nobody listens to the salesperson on the sales floor. And that's a big, big mistake. Then another thing, let's look at the examples. During the crisis, some people cut costs, some people keep investing. For example, Apple, when 2008 financial crisis happened, what they did, they launched iPhone 3G, and they now have a monopoly in the market, right? But like, they had it pretty much right away. Then Amazon, beginning of 2000s crisis, what did they do? They invested in Prime, started selling not just books but everything, became monopolists in their market. It's about like, where are you going with this? You know, like, if you want to retire tomorrow and if you don't care, yeah, like, you can cut. But if you wanted to grow, that's the time to be strategic and be mindful and keep motivating people who work with you. Don't be an asshole to them. Don't cut people who bring you money. Where the biggest opportunity that big chains and or pure e-commerce can't replicate? First of all, it's small retailers who are like one shop, two shops, right? They can build real relationships. They can build trust with the customers. And for so many of you, you know that your customers have been coming to your store for 10 years, for 20 years. When I worked at the adult store 12 years ago, I had a customer who lived right next door and just started coming like, I'm divorced, like, we are going through divorce. My husband has a young lover and he doesn't want me anymore and blah blah blah. And I go, look, like, have you really tried to do something about it? Have you really tried? And I convinced her to try. She started trying. He dropped the girl. It blew his mind. He never knew his wife before. He never thought that she was capable of that. And they were happily married after. Those kind of relationship that you build with the customer, if you do something like that for them, they don't care if it's $20-$30 more, they'll come to you. Opportunity areas for the small retailers, also education, right? So being not just a store for transaction, but being an education hub, being a safe space, being an inclusive space. What mindset shifts do retailers need to embrace to stay resilient? I think we should stop seeing it just like as a business or retail business. We should start seeing ourselves as advocates for sex positivity, sexual wellness, and remember why we started all of this, you know, because I hear more and more people, tariffs, this, like in our industry, right? So much panic, so much panic. But like, let's circle back. Why are we here? Why are you doing what you're doing? This is not a random job. Like, I mean, most of us have a story why we are doing that. And remember, in this story is very important because like everything comes from the owner of the business. You know, if the owner doesn't understand what the he's doing, then don't expect people who work for you do a great job. I mean, in some companies it does happen where the owner is just lucky to have professionals on their team, but they're not gonna hang in there for too long. As I said, the biggest danger is reactive decision making, right? If you don't understand certain topic, if you don't understand certain price formation, or if you don't understand certain product, like, again, don't be afraid to ask and learn and consult with people who know, because you're not supposed to know everything, right? Sometimes people just happen to like buy the business from somebody else, or they didn't build it from the scratch. It's okay to learn. Like, you're supposed to keep learning your entire life if you don't degrade. So this is just another reminder, if you are not comfortable doing, again, for me, YouTube, I could only watch videos before, right? Like, I mean, 5 years ago, I could only search for the video and watch it. That's it. But I learned how to use it, and everything in life you can learn. Please don't have a victim mindset. You can turn this failure into a success. Let's say 2025 sucked for you. Yeah, then let's turn this failure into success. Figure out what are the areas of improvement, right? And give yourself a year and a calendar plan. The game here is really to decide for yourself that this is your business, this is your baby, and you are not gonna give it away, you are not gonna let it fail, and you're gonna grow together with your business. And this is success mindset. This is not victim mindset. Commit to the path of offering the best you can to your customers, and follow this path, and people, like-minded people and opportunities will come your way once you commit to that. From transaction, we build relationship with the customer, right? From product features and just explain product features, we actually talk about like how it works in real life, right? And share the user experiences, first-hand perspective. And we go from how do we sell this to how do we make this easier to say yes to. These two phrases have become credos of one of the biggest brand of the sportwear, Just Do It. And Dynamic Label has a credo, do it yourself. I think these two phrases you wanna digest and remember every time when it gets hard, or when you don't see the numbers you wanna see on your balance sheet. Please remember those phrases. Just do it and do it yourself, and you'll be fine. And if you start fixing these things that you've known for years that they needed to be fixed, renovation at your store, renovation of the moving your e-commerce site, or building it in the first place, or changing your stuff, just do it and do it yourself. And if some of you, after this workshop, feel inspired enough to really put it on your to do list and put it on your calendar and spread it over 12 months, next year, next January at XBIS, we will meet up and you tell me how many more millions of dollars you made this year. Thank you so much, and I wish you good luck. I wish you an amazing year ahead. We'll get through this like an industry, as a team. And again, let's just work with each other and work together and support each other, rather than having those price wars and panic, because nothing good has ever been done in stress. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time in Bad with Kate.